Getting started in the world of property investing can be daunting and confusing, but in this video we're going to explore the Prosperity Network Property Investing Strategy Pyramid, and this starts off with the basics and moving up to the more complex strategies. This will really help understand where you should be looking at to start with versus where you want to get to, and also set you aside from the amateurs versus the professionals. By understanding what should be the bread and butter of your property investing career, you can start to understand and plan how to get to the next step and the next step without taking too big of a leap and increasing the risk on yourself and your property business. This video and the property investing pyramid wouldn't be possible without the help and collaboration of the Prosperity Network. If you haven't heard of them already, Prosperity Network is headed up by Danny Inman and brings all property investors' experience and new alike together to share successes, experience and knowledge in the industry. They work on the principle of facts, not fear. No hype and no hard sell, just honest, direct and up-to-date information in an ever-changing world of the property industry. I had the privilege of attending many sessions last year in the Prosperity Network, and they had incredible sessions, lots of data in the industry, as well as informative, funny and entertaining stories from other investors talking about their journey from the very first property to the very current deal that they have today. If you fancy checking them out, you can view their website at prosperitynetwork.co.uk. So let's jump into the property investing strategy pyramid to help you really hit the ground running as a brand new property investor. So we'll explore the 7 layers of the property pyramid, which includes flips, buy-to-let, social housing, multi-lets, HMOs, small conversions, and then large conversions and developments. Now let's start with buy-to-let. Now this is the bread and butter of the property industry. It's a really easy strategy to get into. It can be quite hands-off if you let and manage the property through an agent, and it's a really great way to kind of dip your toes in and see whether it's something that you enjoy doing. Buy-to-let is really simple in the fact that you put a 25% deposit down on a property, which is on a buy-to-let mortgage, and then you let the property out to a tenant, either managing it yourself or you manage it through an agent. The properties themselves don't really require any crazy refurbishments or development projects. As long as it's nice, it's up to a good professional standard and also meets all of the minimum compliance, then that is more than enough for a buy-to-let home. There are some legal regulations that you need to make sure are complete with the property and documentation is provided. If you're uncertain on that, there's lots of information online, or you can get a managing agent who takes a 10% fee of the rent to do all that and manage it for you. After you've bought your first buy-to-let property, take away costs like the mortgage interest. If you have a managing agent, then that's roughly a 10% fee, and then also factor in things like maintenance, which is 10%, and voids and another 10%, you should be left with anywhere between £250 to £350 profit every single month. You might get the odd call from your agent or tenant if something breaks or the boiler goes a little bit funny in winter, but otherwise buy-to-let investing can be quite hands-off and tenants can typically stay for many years. Just make sure you don't end up on one of those programs with dodgy tenants and dodgy landlords, so make sure that you reference your tenant properly, you credit check them, and you make sure you know who is renting your home and that they can be trusted. Secondly is flips. Now, unfortunately, with the popularity of programs like Homes Under the Hammer, there are a lot of people looking to do a flip in the UK. It's quite low bar to entry. You don't need tons and tons of money, but if you have around 40 to 50k saved and you know how to use a bridging loan and work with a broker, then it's definitely a possible strategy. Now this involves buying a property that is unloved and needs work doing to it and therefore is below market value. When you cost in the cost of the refurb plus then the bridging finance, purchasing costs, legals, etc., as long as the property is worth more than what you buy it for, then you've made a profit. For the majority of properties, they won't work as a flip project. It's quite difficult and hard to find them, but they are out there and available on the market. At the moment, in January 2021, it's a little bit hot on the market. There's too much demand, not enough supply, and therefore I'm seeing properties go for really high prices, well above what they're worth. So as long as you do your research, run your numbers, and make sure you understand what the price of the property is that you're purchasing it for, how much the refurb is, and then how much you can sell it for, then you can trust your numbers and get the right deal that's strong enough. For example, I was looking at a property recently in Sheffield that went to auction. The guide price was £60,000 to £70,000, and I believed that a property in that area was worth around £95,000 fully done up, and it needed £20,000 doing to it, so it was really slim pickings in the deal. There wasn't much profit in it. That same property ended up selling for £90,000 at auction, which is absolutely bonkers because it needs a lot of work doing to it. So if that was an investor who won the final bid, then they have just bought a project that's going to cost them £115,000 to £120,000, and then it's only worth 95, maybe at a push to 100, by the time they've refinanced it at the end. So make sure you run your numbers. But at the end of the day, flipping a property and going on that cycle can be a really great thing to do. It's a fantastic way to build up more and more capital in your property business, especially if you're starting with £50,000 or £60,000. You could make 10, 15, £20,000 profit on your very first deal and start to build up a bigger pot of cash to then move on to the next bigger, higher risk strategy. The next layer is social housing. Now, a lot of property investors shy away from this idea, and that's because of a lack of knowledge or understanding. The best thing to do is get in touch with your local council and ask them what are their social housing requirements and what are they short of in stock. Social housing can really be a great way to bring in solid rental income every single month, and the benefit is that you don't pay things like managing fees and you also won't have voids. So typically when you have a buy-to-let property, you have to factor those costs in. With a social housing contract, you get a guaranteed rent every single month, regardless whether the property has been filled or not by the council. The other great thing is that councils typically also repair and look after the property as well. So if the property is damaged, they will pay to fix and have that put right. Typically the council pay less every single month for these types of deals, but you are getting the benefit of things being repaired and looked after, and you also get the guaranteed side of the rent. So sometimes when you have a tenant leave a property, you'll have a void for around 4 to 6 weeks. You'll also have all the managing agents fees, so none of that you have to worry about, therefore they kind of factor that into the costs. All you have to do is get in touch with the local council and ask them what their rates are for certain bedroom properties, and that will give you an understanding of how much you could lease your property to the council for the purposes of having social housing. The fourth layer in the property pyramid is multi-lets and small HMO properties. Now this is a HMO property that is around 4 or so bedrooms. So not these massive pub conversions with 10 to 12 bedrooms and a massive HMO, just a really small, old terraced or semi-detached house that then is converted into a room by room basis, and you have around 4 people living there. Usually these are also part of a flip project, so you could buy an old, unloved, semi-detached or terraced house, spend some money refurbishing the property up to a good standard, refinance it at the new value, and then rent out the house on a room by room basis and do it as a mini-mo or small multi-let. This works really well if you're in and around a city or near a hospital where there could be medical students and nurses and doctors looking to rent temporarily in the nearby area. And all you need to do is make sure that you contact your local council and understand what the minimum requirements are for HMOs in the area. So you still need to meet minimum compliance. You might need to apply for a HMO license depending on the council as well. So make sure that everything is above board and you meet all of the compliance that comes with a small HMO property. Multi-let properties are a great way to get started in the HMO industry and a great way to kind of dip your toes in and understand if that's something that you really want to do or not. And it's part of my strategy. After I've done buy-to-lets and flips, I definitely want to look at a mini-mo, multi-let type property to start dipping my toes into the world of HMO property. Okay, and then we move on to the fifth layer, which is HMOs. Now this is a bigger form of HMO compared to multi-lets. So this is where you have 6 or 7 and above bedrooms. Typically you'll need planning permission to get the right license for the property and also change the use class. And of course you need to make sure that you are really hot on the regulation and compliance of your local council. This means making sure that you are tip-top on things like fire safety in the building. You also have to make sure that there's a certain minimum space requirement in every single bedroom, in the shared communal areas, and also kitchen space. If there are a certain number of tenants in the property as well, you might even have to have 2 cookers and 2 ovens, multiple fridges, so make sure that you read all the requirements and you understand what those requirements are for the amount of bedrooms you have in the property. Typically big HMOs can be a big detached house, or it could be conversions from a pub or old ex-commercial building that you've converted back into residential as a HMO. That being said, if a HMO is big enough, it can still get a commercial valuation because of the size of it. So sometimes it will still be a residential building, but you may have then a commercial mortgage on the property and therefore the valuation is higher based on the cash flow rather than the bricks and mortar value. Having a bigger HMO means that you need really solid management as well. You're going to have a high-ish turnover of tenants compared to a buy-to-let, meaning to be able to manage 10 or 12 different tenants in the same building, you need to make sure that you have solid systems and processes in place or have a really good specialist HMO managing agent. However, once fully tenanted and working away, HMOs can be very lucrative and you can make incredible amounts of cash from them after all of the costs and expenses. Enough so, with a big enough HMO, you'll be able to have enough profit in a single year to replace the average UK salary. So that one HMO you could spend all of your time on and generate a good amount of profit every single year. A typical good HMO could generate anywhere between £2,000 to £3,000 profit every single month, depending on how many bedrooms you have. I highly recommend checking out some Instagram pages like Jade, who runs B-Space, who has incredible design-led HMOs and is really killing it and changing the industry. So I highly recommend checking that out. So the sixth and penultimate layer of the property investing strategy pyramid are small conversions. Now, when you compare this to a buy-to-let or a flip might traditionally need some kind of tarting up in the property, all internal, skimming the walls, repainting, sticking down some new carpets, new bathroom, new kitchen, all internal small stuff that's very manageable, from anywhere from £10,000 to £20,000 refurb costs. Now, small conversion is where we start stepping into the territory of extensions. So that could be an extension on the back or the side of a property, converting a loft space, or completely tanking and redoing the basement in a property. This is where refurbishment costs will go above £20,000 and you start having to look at planning permission or possibly permitted development, depending on exactly what it is you're wanting to do. Obviously, this will require more time, more experience, and more money to manage. I highly recommend checking out Tex Jones, who's absolutely killing it on Instagram and also a very seasoned, experienced property investor doing a mixture of flip but also small conversion projects, adding extensions, adding space onto property, and doing bigger projects. He's a real great inspiration, so I recommend checking out Tex. And last but not least, we enter the big boy world of conversions, which is large scale development and large conversions. Now, this could be anything from a massive commercial converting into residential project. It might be converting a pub into residential or into flats or a HMO. Typically, this is a project where you're going to need planning permission, you'll need a planning consultant, you'll need architects, you'll need a solid build team. You'll also need to unlock strong development finance through your broker, which means you need experience in flips and building work and project management. Alternatively, it could be building a brand new home or few homes from scratch on a plot of land. When you start to compare a small conversion versus these size projects, you're talking about a project where you need probably over 6 figures worth of build costs to actually get the project off the ground and start building that potential building or conversion. Of course, this can be the most riskiest strategy, and it also means that you'll be looking at buying a property subject to planning, which means spending thousands of pounds on a planning consultant and an architect before you've even had the full offer accepted and gone through to completion on the property, meaning there is room for a deal to fall through or things could go wrong and you've already spent a few £1,000s. So you need to be very experienced and know what you're doing in this particular strategy at the very top of the pyramid. Also, you need to be able to manage a project really well. You need to have a build team that you trust and that you know can get the size of the job done, and that they themselves as a supplier and a business have good cash flow management of their own business so that they're not taking money off of you in your project to fund one of their other projects. And that's really crucial to credit check your builders. But with all this risk comes with reward, and that's how it balances out. The more risk, the more reward. I highly recommend checking out Davey Price on Instagram, who again is doing a phenomenal job. And David has just completed a £5 million development, which is absolutely incredible, of 5 or 6 luxury homes up in Preston and around the Lancashire area. And he's a great inspiration for aspiring property developers. He started with a small buy-to-let and flip project, worked his way up that property pyramid and got to the large scale luxury developments, and that's somewhere ultimately I would love to be in the future. Bearing in mind, out of this £5 million development, £2 to £3 million of that is profit. I hope you found this video useful and inspiring. I've got loads of other great videos like this one on top here, which is questioning, can you get started in property with £10,000? The answer is no, but there's a great plan and strategy in here to check it out. Or you can check the one on the bottom here, which is all about my day in the life of a property investor, going to viewings and trying to find my very first deal. So thanks for watching, choose one of these videos, and I'll see you on the other side.